Haha, that time again. Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and ever so eager to always be before all of you into our 344th podcast episode, expanding over 7 years, 9 years prior to that, right here at Gem Shopping Network, doing a live show as well. At the time, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday nights for a long time. That's how so many of you got to know me. And I was so glad to see so many of you have found me. But it still not totally doesn't surprise me, but it is at least good to see that some of you didn't know that I was still part of Gem Shopping Network. And of course, as long as they'll have me, I'll have them, because this is from a term I've heard lately, grassroots up, right here. Except we're talking about the periodic table of elements and up. Yes, I was a chemistry geek among one of my many geek forms I took. So much so that as a junior, I was the teacher's lab assistant, or teacher's assistant to Chemistry 2, which normally isn't ever been done before a senior, and at a high school that had 3,000 students. In other words, a lot of resources. It was Sarasota High School. We got to go to marine biology in the middle of the day. Yep. And this is 1977, 78. The girls got to wear their short shorts and bikini tops. Can you imagine? Take us by bus down to the bay, and I have never learned so much as being in the field doing something versus looking at the picture of a crustacean or a starfish or whatever it may be in a book. And this, see, the Professor Shawn ties it back to what is relevant. If possible, get up out of that couch, and I know how hard it is to do that for medical reasons and other, and physically participate in looking at any part of the ground for rocks. It can't be any any harder than that. It isn't any harder than that. And remember, a number of years ago, I brought in a piece of concrete and did the "what is this?" And some of you actually got really close to actually getting it right. Concrete is simply limestone that bonds together other natural rocks that comes from a local quarry. And especially here, not exactly where the studio is, but where I live in Forsyth County, we have in the county 2 huge Vulcan, which is a big materials dealer, quarries. The one thing I never made a contact for that I always said would be a good one to have. It was, okay, I got the lawyers down, needed those, got the mechanic down, I got my mechanic, but was the general manager of a quarry pit. Yep. They're the ones that can give you permission and get you in on when they are dynamiting those, usually they're like granitic intrusions. It's a hard rock. But I have never seen a group of rocks over a span of distance not have bugs, pockets, whatever you want to call them, open areas. Open areas, promise you, there is crystals to be found of one form or another. You saw how when I brought that bottle of what was used for applying and creating patinas or oxides on metals containing hydrochloric acid, left alone for a few years. And if you didn't see last week's show, I highly encourage you, if for no other reason, to see how at room temperature, and I don't even think whether light mattered or not, Even though it was in a dark cabinet. As Miss Barber alludes to in a moment, evaporites. And that's what they are. From the evaporation of what the mix of chemicals. I know, hydrochloric acid was one of them. And maybe interacting with the air, creating those stunning, stunning crystals. And if it can do that in my cabinet, I can guarantee you deep in the earth, with all of Mother Nature's geology, from pressure, which brings you heat, you have escaping gases, you have rainwater leaching down with silicas in it, and whatnot. Geology is in motion all the time. It's been said that life finds a way. Well, I'm going to take that and I'm just going to change it a little bit. And I'm going to say, crystals will find a way. And a truer word has never been spoken, unless you're an amorphous opal or something that does not form in an orderly fashion. But that is the oddity instead of the norm. And I think I relayed that other story to you. On a cruise down in the Bahamas, got off on this island that they kind of rent to claim as their own. And I wanted to get away from all the people. Walked to an indiscriminate little path. And there was this little kind of like hole in the ground. Well, that's like, a magnet to me. And I really have never been known to, this is a geek factor, not have a flashlight. Yeah. I didn't have my UV light with me. Would have been a little weird maybe, but it was exactly what I needed. Because you know why? Inside that little hole, and it didn't go back very far, maybe 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. Far enough. Calcite crystals. I pulled out and hit these wonderful little, beautiful scalenahedral calcite crystals. I was stunned for a moment. And then I realized, well, why not? Why not calcite? You have all, and there was nothing that the whole island was made up from what would have been originally coral heads that sand built on top of, and then seashells were deposited on top of, oyster beds on top of that. So you had plenty of silica, you had plenty of, in the case of calcite, from the shells, calcium. And room temperature, ambient temperature, calcite can form. And it was really neat. It was really neat to discover something like that. And so we learn as we go, and now we'll get on with the rest of the story. Okay, so we have a lot of amazing items. My eye, it absolutely went horribly downhill. Horribly. And it took me completely out of, put it this way. If I didn't have a reverence and understanding of people with, I guess I'm just going to use the word, that are blind, before I certainly do now, because it was with Raven saying, okay, I kept saying, are you there? Because with this eye, I couldn't open, and if I tried to do anything with this eye, it caused this side of my face to move ever so little, and it hurt so badly. To refresh you, shampooing my hair, I had just cut my nails. There was a hangnail on my nail, and somehow I managed to take a shampooy thumb and jam it hard back into the corner of my eye, so deep that I could feel the edge of the eye socket bone. I screamed out, and I was really glad that it wasn't as bad as it was at the moment, but it got horribly worse. Whether it got infected from the hangnail scratch the eye, it was. We won't go there. But needless to say, of course, in what all of us need our eyes, as a gem cutter, as a goldsmith, as a prospector. Some might need them more than others, and certainly it was important to me. And I relied on Raven for help and got through it. So we are back. We are raring to go. Let's get through the comments so we can get to the goods and listen and watch for those sale price items. Okay, so we have from Miss Jan. So glad I got to see your show today. That crystal formation from that bottle was amazing. To hear you explain how, what, and why was so fun to learn. Thank you. I wanted to ask about the two selenite night lights. I already took one off from behind there. Or candle holders. I'd like to have them. If your Raven put them there, that told me she wants to sell them and not keep them. It doesn't always mean that, but yeah, we'll part with two of them. I think they make nice night lights for my bedroom. Hope you're doing well, Shawn. I get difficult too. Hugs. Hugs back at you. And I will showcase those for you shortly. And we'll talk about them. And then Miss Jan also writes, I forgot to thank you for the Brazilian iris crystal sphere with the onyx stand. You had a sphere a few weeks ago I was trying to get, but the computers were being difficult. LOL. So I'm glad to get this one. You did well. And funny how that happens, because that was the only one I offered with a onyx stand, and it was mostly because the quartz sphere I had was bigger than the other one, and it looked better in the onyx stand. So in that case, not getting your first desire led you to a bigger and better desire. Take care. Love, Jan and Blondie. And I see a couple of paw prints. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock Family. Wonderful show, Shawn. So many lessons and specimens and comments. Congrats to Matt on getting the Spencer Mountain Opal on my bucket list someday. The current Rock and Gem magazine issue front cover photo is stunning. The article about repurposing jewelry was spot on. The author really hit home on family heirlooms in the forms of gem and jewelry. Repurposing jewelry, with the two different jewelry stores I've had, was one of the really big things I offer. So many other places will try to get your money and have you tear up a wonderful piece so they can charge you to make a new modern piece. I could always offer that solution if the piece was damaged beyond usefulness. In other words, jewelry can and does get to a point where, it becomes an object of art to sit in a stand and look at it for that purpose. But if worn, there's always the potential that diamonds can fall out that are irreplaceable, especially old cuts or baguettes that are difficult to get the right one back in the right spot, and etc. So I was able to offer options. Remake it, keep it as it is, as an object of art to be passed down as such, or in many cases, because I could do that kind of work, I could offer to repair the work, redo the mill graining, bring up the beads brighter. There's so many things. Polish it correctly. I think a lot of people can be misguided and be talked out of a beautiful family heirloom that could still have life in it because maybe the jeweler or the jewelry store or goldsmith they went to didn't have the level of ability to correctly refinish and keep the piece as a family heirloom. So then they talk you into doing what level they can do. And so it's all, also about just finding the right person. And it's kind of like going to a doctor. If you don't get the right answer the first time around or aren't confident of working with that particular goldsmith, then go to another. It always works out if you always have a backup, right? So nothing wrong with doing business with multiple jewelry sources. And oftentimes that will lead you to recognizing just how good of a deal you're getting, let's say, here at Gem Shopping. compared to your hometown jeweler. And, you know, it's just one of those things that it's worth taking the time to look into and keep an open mind. Miss Cindy goes on to say, the author really hit home on family heirlooms in the form of gems and jewelry. Trivia. Okay, so we had the trivia. Yep, we did do it. The questions were, is manganese calcite idiochromatic or allochromatic? Now, the answer, of course, we have discussed this before. So those are two words that are really need to know. And allochromatic being a gemstone such as, there's so many, most of them actually, aquamarine. Aquamarine doesn't derive its blue color or greenish hue from its chemical composition, which is a beryllium aluminum silicate. It derives its color from an impurity of iron. And therefore, it's allochromatic. Now, if a color of something is due to an element in its actual, in other words, a high enough percentage of its actual chemical makeup, then it's idiochromatic. And that's really important to helping you to understand how, you know, you can have a everything from a zoisite that's green with ruby to a zoisite that's tanzanite and blue. How does that happen? Well, again, and they're both called the same mineral. So something's changed, right? So you would know then. Plus, if you know those two words around other people, most people don't know those two words. And they're important words. And it would make you sound like you know as much as you do know. And that's okay. You have people coming up to you to ask you for your opinion. And that's okay. The second question was, what type or word is given to opal that absorbs and dissipates water? Hydrophane. Hydrophane is the answer to that. And that is also important to know. So you can understand if you ever bought opal and felt it and it felt like chalk, and you know, if you ever were tempted to stick it to your tongue and it stuck to your tongue, it doesn't come out, you know, in other words, so dry. I have had opals that I thought were going to just turn into chalk, completely white. Put them in water, and in minutes they absorb all this water, and the beautiful fire comes out and the polish comes back. It's really, some of them are amazing. I remember these as they were Mexican opals as a teenager, and I had never seen such hydrophane opal until the Wello Ethiopian discoveries. Wow. Now that opal has some serious hydrophane properties, but the good part is, and the unusual part is, the Wello opals can absorb and dissipate water without developing crazing. Australian opals, Lightning Ridge, they dissipate water. In other words, they lose water, but they don't get it back. And the consequence of that is those crazing. I hate to use the word cracks because they're not. But little, it looks like little micro fissures in the opal. And that is pretty much due to loss of opal content. And that can oftentimes be prevented, being stored improperly. Or here's the other thing. I've been to Lightning Ridge for weeks, been down in the opal mines, know many miners, and the miners, especially with the recent meaning going back decades, with the lack of good material available by way of opal, they'll mine it and they'll shoot it up the vacuum into the truck. Then they sort it, and then they cut it. I've always said that it should be, there'd be a security issue, but however where they do it, in a bedroom, open it up, let it sit out for a year. Let the rough sit for a year and let it do whatever it's going to do. Because if you don't, after you cut it, it's going to do what it's going to do, which is craze. If it's going to craze. If it's not, then you would know by then. Too many times it's rushed because the opal miner knows he's in a seam that tends to craze. So what they do, they mine it, they cut it as quick as they can, they get it sold off, wash their hands of it, and leave the crazing to the next owner. And there's issues with that. So anyway, I could go into that long time because I actually was associated with the Opal Miners of Lightning Ridge Association and some of their guidelines and rules and whatnot. But in the end, when you have a hungry opal miner, money rules, and the quickest way to get the money is to process the material. So anyway, just some more notes from Shawn. Okay, so those were the questions and the hydrophane answer. Now, to continue back, we have Cindy answering them, getting both right, idiochromatic and hydrophane. She says, enjoy your week, one and all. Hope the eye feels better by now. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, where we are actually getting a little rain this evening. We have been getting some light rain, and it has really been nice because the temperatures have been in the 80s versus 90s every day. Miss Barbara in Pennsylvania says, hello, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Nice show. Lots of new items. I think the drawer with letters you were telling Matt about was a printer's typesetting drawer. Of course it was. That's exactly right. I poked my finger in my eye by then, and the brain wasn't quite working right. Experience the downside of recycling regular furniture into specimen drawers is that the drawers only pull out far enough to see 2/3 of their contents. And they get real tippy. Purpose-built cabinets pull out all the way and don't fall over. Uh-huh. You mean, Barbara, the kind that are in museum storage drawers and cabinets? You mean the real expensive kind that look really nice and I'd love to have? Yeah, of course. Purpose-built is always the best, but not always possible. All of my, my basement shops that I've turned into, I have always able to get people's old kitchen cabinets. They work really, really well for repurposing, not for display purposes, but for other things. So I have one that have, and I already told you I had the printer's trays, great for little displays. And then the other thing I have is those library card drawers. Now, those, because of course you have to get to the very back, and they do have even the slider thing. They could be made and adjusted. They actually were nicely made and could pull way out. You would want to anchor them, but they're heavy. They're heavy, and they would work. They would work easily to repurpose them safely and still look nice, because I noticed on them where the little card, a little library, and you had the A to L, and you could put it on the little slip in the front. The drawer hardware was all brass. Yeah, when they actually put money, time, effort, metal, wood into making things instead of plastic and more plastic. Next, perfect pronunciation, Altin Tayoub and Renee Josti. She's talking about the dioptase specimen, the way it was spelled, Kazakh word. So I'm glad I got it right. By the way, he was appointed the first curator of what is today the Paris School of Mines Museum by King Louis XVI in 1794. It is a lovely museum in a chateau located within the Luxembourg Gardens and is one of the 3 great mineral collections in Paris, along with the Sorbonne Museum and the newly opened Natural History Museum. Anyone going to the Summer Olympics has some tempting side trip options. Indeed. Nice savings on that Australian road tonight since its prior showing on 6/24, and love that blue apatite since that arrived yesterday. Cool. Glad you like. And yes, that rhodonite in the galena, just the contrast of those 2 minerals together alone is unusual and unique, and you might only see it in sweet home material. But there was more sweet home crystals and beautiful specimens available than ever the Broken Hill rhodonite and galena specimens. Those are way, way more rare. They just, maybe didn't make as big of a splash in the community. But as far as a rare specimen, yeah, you'll have many, many more choices at a lot higher prices, but you'll have more choices of getting sweet home rhodochrosites. And I only say that because one's a manganese silicate, the other's a manganese carbonate, and somewhat similar colors. And they both are associated with ore minerals like galena. So, yeah, I love that Broken Hill material from Australia. Human pressure and temperature crystal formation equals evaporites. Think salt, halite, bolite, sugar, alum, Epsom salts, borax, a glass of supersaturated water, a pencil and a string. Have fun. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And you can grow your own crystals for certain. As to the trivia, manganese and calcite, CaMnCO3. Contains manganese in its formula, so it is idiochromatic. Opal, which easily absorbs and dissipates water, is considered hydrophane opal. Yeah, I like the use of evaporites because pretty much that's what you are growing when you grow those crystals. At least that's how they form, by evaporation of the solution, which further concentrates the liquid as the temperature dropped as well from when you saturated it at boiling point. So yeah, it's a easy way to help understand how crystals can form using that method. Teddy is getting way too bold. Time to ditch the bird fruit on the porch and hang a string of noisy silverware before you find him sitting in your recliner having a beer. Keep cool, Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Yes, we do what we can, but the Raven, her name, the Raven, she's got to feed her birds. Okay, it's a bird thing. And, but what Teddy will do for a sesame seed, wow. Pretty much about as much as Mr. Squirrel. Not a big fan of Mr. Squirrel. Miss Gabby in Florida. Well, there's Miss Gabby. Greetings, fellow rockhounds. Once again from North Georgia. Between computer issues, tell me about it. Yep, on top of everything else. And you might even hear the difference today. You won't be hearing any binging over here from me scanning anything. I was a victim. And my computer is, at the moment, crashed by no doing of my own. Between computer issues and travel, haven't checked in recently, so I thought I'd better say hi before I am put on the MIA list. LOL. OMG, only our Shawn could grow a crystal shaped like a perfect spider leg, which, if it weren't attached to an acid bottle, I would buy in a heartbeat. And in my humble opinion, you're one of the few people I know that probably does have a brain for crystallography. That's really kind of you to say. Maybe at one time, but I think my brain's been slipping a little bit there. But I was, and still am, kind of interested in it. I see how useful it can be for mineral identification. And that's always important. I do remember the reunited opal story and actually seeing the piece. I got excited for a second when you started talking about it. I thought maybe you had it back in your possession to sell. But really, I'm sure it means way too much to that family to let it go. You always have great values in your show, but this week seemed a little more so to me. I gave my fellow rock lovers 2 days, and the rhodonite galena specimen was still available, so I figured, what's better than one Australian rhodonite, but two? Trivia, idiochromatic and hydrophane. Best, Miss Gabby. Wow. Congratulations, Miss Gabby, on getting that. The thing you can do with two specimens of the same is you can jacket out a collection, right? One on each end of something. Well, I happen to know that you are a very generous and giving, you and John both, back to the mineral community and whatnot. So I was going to say, and if you had a really, really good friend, you could always give them one. But maybe not. Keep it yourself, because where else would you ever find another one? And if I remember right, it's close in size to the other, so it would make a wonderful pair. And besides, it goes back to anytime you could buy a quarter for a nickel, then kind of why not? As long as you have the nickel, if you have the nickel, then yeah, why not? And then I always say, and as long as you know that you can, where you can take the nickel and turn it back into a quarter, which of course you know how to do that as well. So you have it covered. I think that was a great choice for you, especially since you had the other one. Wonderful. And the regarding the opal piece, I hadn't talked to her in a long time, but she reached out to me, the family that owns the Reunited story. And if you want to know what that's about, listen to last week's show about a stunning opal. There's so much emotions and drama that go into the whole story. It's really something. But she reached out to me because her and her husband had gotten the opal here from Gem Shopping Network, and of course, I made the custom piece for it and recut the two pieces, and so he passed away, and that was like, so I haven't heard from him in like 7 years, and they did reach out to me, and I have no doubt that probably I would be reached out to if that piece, by way of the estate or at some point needed to be handled as far as sold, that I might be involved with that. So it could come back around. Things have lately been having a way of doing that. And yeah, that was my last greatest incredible piece where I cut the stones. It is a wonderful, well, it's not a wonderful story. It's kind of a tragic story to the provenance of it. But in the end, the story just gets better when you have the whole provenance. And the whole provenance isn't one of these made up provenances you'll get when you go to an antique store. And I only say that because let me tell you this one quick story. A lady came in to buy a state piece of jewelry from me one time. And I only knew the history back like one family. I didn't really even know the provenance or the prior owners. Provenance is the history to a antique piece going backwards. So the lady says to me, she goes, I'm going to turn around over here and I'm going to go look at your rocks and minerals on the shelves. And when I come back around, you're going to remember what the history was and story to this ring so I can tell my friend that I'm giving it to. I knew right then what I was supposed to do. And I, within moments, imagine that, someone that talks for a living here, coming up with a story within moments. And I did. And she goes, how did you do that? She goes, it was, it's, the gift of gab. And I gave her a story. Only funny thing is that story will carry forward from that person to the people they hand it down to, or maybe they'll sell it, who knows. But it was, yeah, I like the way she asked me. Okay, so now we have Miss Elisa from Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Shawn, thank you for offering the ammonites. The colors and suture lines were exactly what I had been looking for. The magic of the show. I called right away and was able to purchase them both. Thank you. They will be proudly on display in my collection. I enjoyed your opal hydrophane demonstration and zooming into the crystal formations on that bottle from your office. Those crystal formations were mesmerizing. Nature is amazing. My answer this week is, you got them both right. My other favorite item of the week was the Australian rhodonite and galena specimen. Well done. That was a beaut. Take care, everyone, and have a great week. Miss Lisa, now that we also know where it went to. Miss Penny in Quebec says, hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew, and fellow rockhounds. I hope this finds everyone well. Miss Penny gets both answers right. Shawn, thank you again for the education and amazing specimens. Love that rhodonite specimen. Wow, Miss Gabby, it seems the rhodonite was a big hit. I also love the wolfenite specimen from a couple of weeks ago. Yes, and I certainly hope someone got that. I apologize for not writing in last week to thank you for your generosity and the barite specimen. Before I realized it, it was Thursday afternoon and too late for your show. I do love how the barite medallions are interlaced like that. And I also love barite because it often has other crystals on it. Yeah, when the vanadinites hang off of it, that's crazy. I haven't received it yet, but at this point, if you could please ask customer service to ship it as you gave me a date, that would be greatly appreciated. We are leaving and going to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and St. John's, Newfoundland for a few days in each city. Wow, that just sounds so much cooler weather than what we're having. That would be great. So you're up that way. Of course, you know, Labradorite fame, named after Labrador, which is up that way. And I have rocks that my dad got me on one of his trips because he went to, there's a tidal zone there that has some of the world's highest and lowest tides. And he got me something at low tide. Nice little crystal growth on the bottle. That's it for now. I wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. I hope you enjoy your trip there, Miss Penny. And wow, that sounds like a wonderful place to go. Miss Penny says hello again. And then she says, just a little note, my sympathies to Raven and her family. Thank you. I told her that when we were looking this morning and yucking over some of the comments. And I mentioned that to her. And she said to tell you, thank you for the condolences. It was Summer's grandmother on her father's side. And yet, Raven and her were really, really close their entire lives. So it was a loss. Matt in Texas says, hello all. Well, my collection sure has grown these past few weeks. Thank you, Professor, for the great specimens, including the beautiful vanadinite you sent last week. The turquoise will surely be gorgeous as well. I have been wanting vanadinite for a long time, and it is truly nice. Each week, it becomes a wonderful but tough choice to select items and not totally destroy the budget, but having so much fun doing so, right? People follow me at rock and gem shows when I use the UV light and magnet. Can't wait to see the reaction when I bring the gigger. We'll pass on the trivia this week since I received items 2 weeks in a row. Peace and long life, Matt. Received items 2 weeks in a row? Wow. Good luck to you. That's what I was saying to people. You can win lots of items every year. You just have to participate. And we make winning easy. Yes, if you take, the Geiger is the Ravens slang word for the Geiger counter, which is never too far away from me. And Matt is having one of his, an upgrade of mine built for him. Watch. If you have, and take that because it's portable and it's not one of these obvious things that, you know, go clickety click and you're holding one part and holding the other. No, it's almost hands free. Plus, it actually has the loop. You can hang it off your belt and whatnot. You will have so many dealers wanting you to either check their specimens or borrow it. It will get around that there is a Geiger counter in the house. And that's just something a lot of them don't have. But so many of them want to know or don't want to know just how hot their specimens really are. And so watch for those with all tonight and then see what they say. But they should know what they have. If they don't really know how radioactive some of those ones are, then they probably do need to know. And the neat thing is, the really cool thing is, you don't even have to run this like over the top of them. No. That autunite specimen of mine that I won't bring in, through an entire floor, 2 boxes, insulation, and 6 feet below that. And I can walk underneath the floor and pinpoint exactly where it is a floor above. Same thing. You can stand back in the middle of an aisle. And if you have something that's really hot, it's sending gammas out there. And you will know. You will be able to pick it up and zoom right in just like you see on TV, but it's really true. You know, as the clicking gets click, 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 gets hotter and hotter. True thing. It'll work. When stuff's that hot, you know, alpha doesn't go far, beta goes a little further. Everything has, to some degree, some of each for the most part. And some just a lot more. And so distance becomes a thing, but yeah, it can easily read 6-8 feet away on the ones that are really running hot. Okay, so we had lots of winners, and we have drew a number and a name, and this week, maybe magic struck again. Miss Gabby is the winner. Let's show Miss Gabby what she has won. And this is, I hope, maybe something you don't totally have. It has a really nice light tint of blue to it, but beautiful blue Moroccan barite. And I love the weight of barite, because for being barium, you don't think of it, barium sulfate, but it's a heavy specimen. This is a really nice specimen because it actually does display two ways. And people might say, oh, well, that's not, well, as the Raven says, there's no such thing as an ugly rock. And she's really right about that. So this is one look, and you can see there just happens to be a coating over it, but it's still geology. And then this is the other side, and you can just see just how beautiful some of the blades are. When this blue barite first was discovered in Morocco, it was a huge, huge hit and really valuable. It still is really valuable. And a lot of it has been absorbed into the market, and it's not as available as it used to be. That one is for you, Miss Gabby. And now that I think about it, because I always try to think about any magic to it, let's see, Miss Gabby's in Georgia now, and up where the Wine and Mineral Museum is, it happens to be in near a county that the money and a lot of the original I guess employment was mining barite in the county up near Cartersville. And, you know, people think of marble, and which there is, but there also was a lot of barite being mined up there. So there's and from where I live, that's only like an hour away. So it would just be neat to have connections to go and explore those original, you know, you're talking about going back 100 years plus, and how they discovered it and all. Because I just wouldn't have thought that area would have produced something like barite, but certainly have. Okay, let me put that up safely, and I'll be right back with the start of the show. Okay, by request, here are those fossil lights, and I believe it was Miss Jan that wanted them, and she spotted them in the backdrop. And I'm just showing you how cool they are, because inside of this one, all I have is my flashlight lighting that up. And then this is just backlit, so you can see the product in general, and just lit with this light backlit. Selenite is such that you can see it picks up whatever color light that you put on the inside. Thank you, sir, Dave. I will move this away, and you can. So let me show you the fossils in this now, because that's only part of the fun, is that they function as really neat lights or whatever you want to do, decorative items. But here's how they're done. So with that opening right there, you can, and it goes all the way up. But what we found we like to use, you can get those little, they look like the little teacup or tea candle lights, except they're battery operated. And they fit underneath here perfectly, and they light the whole thing up, so you can use those. Batteries last a long time. Or, of course, because there's these little rubber pegs on the bottom, you can run a cord underneath and put a night light, which works really well. Just a regular little 7-watt night light works great to illuminate these as well. Okay, look at the fossils. So here is the Orthoceras, member of the cephalopod family, along with the goniotites. Now, the goniotite looks like an ammonite, and there's one right there. It is predates the ammonite. Ammonite, of course, a primitive cephalopod, but the goniotite was even more primitive, I guess, in the ways they classify them. And they are, whereas ammonites are around 100 million years old, the gunneotites go back 400 million years old. Some of the earliest creatures even in the sea. So depending on what angle they cut this stone, depends on how the different segmented bodied animals end up looking as they're polished. But these are all cut, it's just cut from one piece of natural fossil stone. And the nice thing about this type of fossil stone versus, like say the fossil stone they use in, we have a museum fern bank here. It's more of a calcitic fossil stone, which is susceptible to staining and also to being eaten up by acid. This is not the case. This is more of a silica-based type of fossilization, and it holds up so much better. Wow, look at that. That looks kind of creepy, like a big annelid, which is a worm. And look at the way that one is. That's interesting. Wow. That's probably is the one that Raven wanted me to keep. But anyway, I had these sale priced, and so can't remember exactly, but I tell you what, I know they were $28, but I'm going to make them only, let's do this, $18 each. $18 each, and I think you wanted 2 of them, so I will set these aside for you. Okay, now, let me show you the next item, which is 116-1724. 116-1724, and this guy, let me move these out of the way. So this guy is the only one left. If you remember seeing, sorry, Dave. Let me just follow me, with me. Thank you, sir. So I can reach it. Okay, so I had 2 others, one in jade and I believe one in lapis. And those were sold, but this malachite one is left. And these work completely fine. I have the batteries for them, and I will install the battery because it's real easy to do. But I'll do it for you. You can see the plastic hasn't even been taken off the back. So it's there in just, well, they are brand new condition. And this thing, I won't do it now, but it just comes off. The batteries are back there, and you can align this, and everything, believe me, is very user-friendly, or you know me, I would not have it. Look at even the felt on the bottom. These are really, really nicely made. And I was looking to see, I was looking at the name on there. Quartz, so you know it's battery, it'll keep time, and what a neat addition to a collection. Hold on a minute. I just saw something that would make me change my mind on even selling this if I had seen it before. I'm going to go ahead and still offer it, but if I'm not mistaken, that's chrysocolla. That is chrysocolla banding. I had never noticed that in these before. And if not chrysocolla, it is another rare copper mineral. Could be azurite. Could be azurite, but not that commonly seen. We saw it, of course, in that one Moroccan specimen, but to alternate like that, I've seen chrysocolla do that more so. So either way, the contrast, that's an extra bonus. I think that's neat. I think it's neat that I actually didn't see it before, because that tells me that that's why I stare at specimens over and over and over again. And every time I see something new, I think that's neat. Okay, so here you go. I will put the battery in for you. And if you are interested in the last one of these miniatures that I have, I'm going to make that guy only what the original price was, because it was a bargain then, and it's a bargain now. $68. Only $68 on that. So grab it while you can. Now, if I can, let's see. I'll have to look. Okay, talking to myself again, nothing unusual there. I'm having to make some room as I go with those lamps in the way. Okay, now. Don't know where to start, but let's do this. Let's look at 1069822. 1069822. And this is a piece that, you've kind of seen before, or other ones maybe somewhat similar to it. But this, I can't say enough how exciting to me when I got a flat of these. And if I was really wise, I would have just hung on to it. Maybe it would have taken decades more, I don't know, in time to really prove the rarity and the uniqueness of them. Because there is no more. The Jones mine's been extinct since the 60s. The zircon belt of mines have long since all closed. That was a run decades and decades ago through a little part of North Carolina between kind of south and west of Asheville. And they call it kind of like the zircon belt. Look at this. Oh yeah, I was hiding the best. Now, you can see that some of the some of the host material, which is a feldspar, microcline feldspar, you can see. You saw a reflection, or others you'll see in a moment. And it's known to produce these incredibly beautiful, well-formed, shaped zircon crystals. Look at this. So what you're looking at is terminated at both ends. So here they are. So here's the point. So it's two pyramids base to base, except with a big, wide middle part. Look at that. I mean, you could completely remove this from the matrix if you wanted and just have the loose crystal. But let's look around. Here's another one. And same thing. This has only been partially specimen prepared. I want to say excavated out of there. Here's another, and all of these, if with a Dremel tool, you could peel back, so to speak, grind away the feldspar. See these reflections that you're seeing? These are the crystal faces on the feldspar. That's how you know it's a feldspar. Here's another one. So, there's another one. But this is what may get some of your attention. Zircon, we know, or you should remember that it is known to contain REEs, rare earth elements. And did you see in the news in the last couple of weeks, which is really important, that, we were beholden to China for 50% of the world's mined REEs. They process 90% of the ore of rare earth elements, which is totally critical to, all electrical batteries and so much more moving forward in the world of science, dependent so many ways on rare earth elements. I can name off all the elements, but just stick with me on that. Now, zircon's regular makeup doesn't contain them, but it often is susceptible to impurities that contain enough rare earth elements that sometimes it can make a difference. Norway, and I saw them running the ore through, and it looked like a whole bunch of scooterudite. Now, if you remember, scooterud was, I believe, the type locality. In other words, where scooterudite was discovered. And even though scooterudite is a nickel ore, I believe, I think it is, again, susceptible to having other elements in it as well. So, yeah, this amount of ore they were processing was like, wow, and if I could just, play in the ore pile, that's all I want to do. All right, so let's check. Let's see Exactly. Okay, so here we have, and this is for poor Matt, who's still waiting on his Geiger counter, and so he has to live his life out through mine for the time being. But when he gets his has got more bells and whistles on it, but that's all right. Okay, so roughly, you know, if you see me do this before, it goes anywhere from 30 to 50, you know, 20, drop, sometimes 60, but that's just what's floating around in the air at any time. Anything outside of that range, and you're talking about then getting a reading coming from the specimen. So let's just see. We have that big zircon there. We have another one there. Let's put it over those two and let's see if we can't make any difference here. If there is any REEs or radioactive elements, which usually are an REE. And lo and behold, we have a range of 150 to upwards of 200 or more. Or a little bit more, which of course is completely safe and within the range of, well in the range of safe. I mean, after all, we wear zircons on our hands, don't we? So this is, you know, Matt, if you want to collect specimens that have a pretty decent REE, I mean CPM reading, count per minute reading, this would be one. And it is homegrown, made in the USA. And of course, actually, from where I live, it is only about 3 hours away. That part. I wish I could. I'd love to even just go back to the old mine. And I've been to some of these though. They're disappointing usually, just to tell you the truth. Oftentimes, the original deposit isn't recognizable even. It's overgrown with woods, and it just looks like any other little gully in many cases. You'd have to do digging to get to any good material. Sometimes. Other times, the ore piles are evident and you might have better luck. But anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful example and of something there's not going to be any more of. And again, I share. If I didn't, I wouldn't be offering something that I should actually just hang on to, because just sheer economics of the way our mineral community works, the value can only go in one direction. When there's the mining, there's no more, very few specimens in the market, and I've been providing the most from this particular location. So anyway, this deal I am going to do, make it in for sale kind of price and offer that one for only, this is, especially with that big crystal, if you could easily take that out of there, that would be a wonderful find. $48. $48 on that guy. And a one of a kind. I mean, there'll be so few people that would have a specimen like that. You'd really have a treasure. Now, let me show you something else from North Carolina and mined by myself. 110-9523. Take a look at this. Now, this has been drilled, and I've even added a silver ring to it so that it could be hung. And look at that. I balanced it so it's pretty even. This would look great in any, well, we have one hanging right above the kitchen sink. Any kind of sun, because first, so you know where to look, you can see these without looking. Look at all the red. Those are rubies, and a fluorescent light would really light them up. So let's look at this from behind, and maybe you can see them a little bit easier. Oh yes, much easier. There we go, even easier yet. So you're looking at the green material is a smaragdose. It's kind of related to the actinolite family, and or smaragdite, coming from the Greek word smaragdos for green. Obviously a great name for it. Look at the ruby in this, and then look at all these other small ones that you don't really first notice, but here, when you know what to look for, here, look back here. Look at all these. They are scattered throughout this specimen. And this would be what it would look like if the sun was, let me straighten this back out, and coming through this. Look at that green. Look at here. Look at all these rubies. Now, if you're a fluorescent lover, here's more. And they extend all these right down. There's a real red one right there. So this entire slice is full of them. And in the world of Chunky Gal, which is where I had mined this one, thank you, sir, this kind of concentration in a specimen was not the norm. They were more randomly scattered. Not at first, a good material that's been scooped up, yeah, but you have to work for it pretty hard. But I found this one myself. And there's more to be found. You just can't drive up to the deposit like you used to. You got to do a little bit more walking. So a little more effort, but you know, if it came easy, there wouldn't be anything left, would there? It is only pick and hand pick and shovel. So, but in the 60s, there's a part of it that's called cat-eye cut. They allowed a dozer to come in there, and they cut open a big section of it and hit some great material. Then I have my own dozer story of why I was able to get great material. And that's because a fire line had to be cut right through the deposit that hadn't been touched. This was in 2009, I think, since the 60s. And there was a fire. And I was almost run off from there. And I was going to be really disappointed because I drove a ways to get there. And I begged and cajoled and pleaded with the head of the fire jumpers, and he allowed me to stay. And oh my, you know, it was always about everybody else reading their story about how they were in the right place at the right time. Well, it was finally my turn in this case, and that's how I found some stunning specimens, because the bulldozer turned over material that would have never ever been turned over, and I was the first and only one. So boy, I got to cracking that rock. And breaking this is trying to like break the quasi quartzite type material that the Herkimer diamonds are in. I mean, it is just so dense and no cleavage to it. And it is just cracking rocks like you're on a rock pile, just breaking rock till you find something. All right. So anyway, this is a neat piece, especially since I made it, right? And it even says that mined and crafted by Shawn. And it is, oh, I forgot about that. It is signed, just so you know where to look for it. It is on one side or the other. There we go, S14S. Yep. So that, it was 2014. Wow, that's 10 years ago already. 10 years ago, my goodness. Okay, so a neat piece, and you know, I'll end up with this happily back home, but with a silver ring ready to go, I don't want to do that. I want it to find a home. Everything has to find a home. It is wheeling and dealing and sale pricing. How's that?
Yeah. The Liberty Bell,
right? It does. That's true. The Liberty Bell with the crack and all. You're right. I never would have thought of that. Oh, even the top, even where the way the Liberty Bell has that circular. You're right.
Chunky Gal pen.
Wow, Asif just nailed it. The Liberty Bellite.
With the Liberty Bell Chunky Gal.
There, the Liberty Bell Chunky Gal. I love that. I love that. I should have waited till, you know.
Already named it. That, I mean, if you don't see Liberty Bell there, I don't know what you.
No, I absolutely. I almost see the writing on it. I mean, no, that is. Oh, David is showing me a picture of the Liberty Bell. Let me see that. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. Side by side. Here we go, Dave. Give us a side by side.
Yeah.
Look the same to me. I can't tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference. I cannot. Look at that. The rim across the top. Yeah. Look at even the direction of the crack, the angle of it. Yeah. And then how it gets wide. Yep. That is, without a doubt, the same thing.
Near the same place.
Very true. Very close together. Here we go. I'm going to make this such a good deal, especially since with being the Liberty Bell. And you know what? I'm going to throw in the stand. How's that? That's a lot of the value.
Let's do it.
And you fluorescent lovers, Put this in your fluorescent room and flip the switch, and this thing's going to look like it is a night sky of red stars. Price on this, how about it? How about it? I have no idea. But I know $28 is way less than it would ever be, should and ever be. Oh, man. That's a deal. And when especially, look at how thin I sliced this. Y'all, yeah, that takes a wind chime, and yes. A wind chime and have it ring. Then it does everything. Wow. I could, yeah. There's some real. I was just thinking, why didn't I do that on July 4th or now? Election year, yes. Oh, election year. $28. When I think of, I had to mine it, I had to slice it, and then I had to cheesy Shawn spray it to get that polished look. And then, I had to drill it, I had to make the silver ring, I had to put $28. You guys, you better buy that. Someone better get that. Okay, let me put it up safely, and I'll be right back. I have lapis from Chile. I have lapis from China. Lapis anywhere else in any kind of commercial quantity, kind of few and far between. But at Sorry Sign, the lapis capital of the world, the amount that they can produce varies widely. It is up in a difficult area. And of course, the politics of the region is such that, yeah, say no more. Anything to do with Afghanistan, anything to do with that whole area is iffy. But again, having foresight, years ago, I bought an entire flat of this. I love to buy flats. I get it. You know, if you're a mineral dealer and you are able to buy an entire flat of something versus one individual specimen from it, it's a huge difference in what you pay in price per gram or whatever unit you're measuring it in. So I found that, of course, doing the live show, and it was such that I had the ability to be able to say, okay, I'll take it all, or how much do you want for a flat of it, or and this kind of negotiation. So I had gotten some incredible pricing. That ruby in zoisite or a neolite that you saw me offer last week, that was one of the last pieces I got from, I said then, one of the most expensive flats I had ever bought. And that was getting a big discount. Now, I wish I had every bit of that back, every bit. No sense in leaving me one or two pieces of lapis left. I want the whole flat back. I want everything good that I sold all of you back. Because to replace it is way more than, and I do look, than so many times what I have sold it to all of you for. No matter the market, you bought it less than what I can replace it for. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Now, here's one of my last other big pieces. Look at that. This is, and I love that single, this is just a single light on it. So if you ever wanted to know how pretty something is displayed using like at night, a single light, or this is how they do in the museums. Have you ever noticed? Many times it'll just have one light over something because you get those shadows, you get that kind of aesthetic look to it. And in the mineral world, many times that actually allows you to be able to see another dimension you normally wouldn't. And I'll show you a perfect example of that right here. So you see the shadow? The light coming from that one angle causes, just like the craters on the moon, a shadow to appear there. Well, if I looked at that, see that, looking at that directly in, I don't know that that is even a little vug or a pocket or a dip. That looks like it could all be on the same level. But when you turn things in or out of the shadow, it gives you different reliefs. It gives you different shades, shadowings, and color, and hence appeal. And all that, when they do museums, lighting is everything. Now that I looked at that and this material and looking at that, I bet there's some fluorescence in there, because a lot of times, lapis, of course, we know it's truthfully what it really is, a sulfur dominant aween. Oh yeah, there's that word again. And with pyrite and calcite, and it's really a rock made up of multiple minerals. There also can be mariolite. Look at the wonderful colors in this. That aside, this incredible quality, look at that coloring, and that's dry, is large enough that it could be easily carved. Look at that color. Oh, look at that color. That is world class. That is as good as it gets in lapis. And I refer to now the Chilean lapis. My son actually bought me a piece of it, and I was familiar with it. It is a dark, dark navy blue. It does not have any of this bright neon look to it, and it is, shot full of pyrite. The Chinese, I would say it is more pyrite than lapis at all. And the color, again, not attractive at all. So, nothing can touch this material. The other thing I want to point out is this. That hasn't been sawed there. That has not been sawn there. These are the natural upper and lower faces to the seam. This is how much of it will form. It'll be in seams and bands, and that's why you get these lines like that. You can see these are other just formation lines of where it is. These are parallel to the top or bottom, and everything based on gravity, and why a lake is always at the same relative plane to the universe, to the globe. Basically, water seeks its own level. So do minerals. This is a beautiful piece. Whether you wanted to saw this into slices and slabs, or whether you wanted to leave it as a beautiful cabinet specimen, it comes with a wooden stand, and however way you may want to display it, because it is certainly displayable. And look at that, almost like little dendritic formations there. And a lot can be done with it. A lot can be done with it. Use the stand for something else. Okay. I'm going to sell price this because I showed it before, and that's what I do. I give stuff away. That's what I'm known for. To a point. Because after that, then it's only can be so little before, I'll keep it at home. But I'm putting a nice discount, just like Miss Barbara said I did. I applied a nice discount to that Galena and rhodonite, and then Miss Gabby swooped in and got a great deal. And I'm thrilled. Same thing is what I'm doing on this. I'm dropping by way of the price a huge percentage. So if I'm going to sell it, let's just, rip the Band-Aid off fast and have it done with. Because if not, I'm taking it to my saw it up in a bunch of other slices, and then probably get a lot more money for it. But Shawn don't do that. $98. 98 lonely only dollars. It'll never be less than that. And I will probably, if it doesn't sell like in a week, change my mind and take it back home anyway, because that's the last of the large pieces I had. And this is a large piece. I could chuck it up in any of my saws and get a lot of goodies. All right, thank you, sir. Now, what I'm going to show next is a really unique item. It's one of a kind, albeit a little whimsical. Item 115-2824. 115-2824. Okay, look at this. I kept this for a long time. I didn't want to sell it because it is the only one. Only one. Got it. Only one. That's it. that I have ever seen not broken open. Those sugar quartz geodes. Now what they do, they don't saw these open. They just luckily somehow crack them open and get lucky. Well, this one did not crack all the way through, at least wise, to where I haven't had the nerve to try to pull it apart. I think it would come apart, but I don't want to, because I think I either was going to leave it that way for myself or leave it that way for the next person that owns it. Let them decide. I love being able to see in there just as we can now. The sugar quartz geodes, sometimes they are so full of those crystals intergrown together that there's not much of an open cavity. Okay, there we go. Oh, I want to stick my finger in there and you can't see. Let me show you something. See that collection of crystals right there? I have not seen crystals that size in any. Wait a second, sugar quartz geodes. Hold on. Is that a bridge of crystals? Dave, does that look like it's open underneath the bridge? You see what I mean? Does it look like that there's a hole, like it goes underneath there? I don't want to put that in there. Because those crystals are not going so much for my water seeks its own level. If I had a real thin, I could poke something back in there to see if that's a bridge of crystals across, leaving that area open underneath there. That would be that is what that's doing. A phenomenal and unique formation. I'm looking back look at that. I regret having pulled this up now to show it because it would not be being offered right now. Look at those. This is not like a normal sugar quartz geode. And maybe the reason why the miner stopped at this point, because it was either going to be in a few pieces and he might lose that unique formation there. I mean, I see doubly turning and sugar quartz, because normally they're whitish like sugar. These are clear, clean crystals. Okay, one last thing, Dave. Let's do this. I'm going to shine the light behind here. And there you go. Now let's see what we can see. Ah, look at that. That is a bridge, isn't it? Yeah, yep, I can see it now. By the difference in the color of the light. Okay. What is that? What is the word I'm looking for? The contrast. That is perfect. That is a bridge of crystals over an opening that goes underneath it. I have never seen that. I haven't seen that in regular geodes, let alone in this type. And with nothing but beautiful quartz. Dave, great camera work on focusing right where I needed that to be, to give me the answer through contrast in lighting. I see a big crystal all the way in the back there for the same reason, the contrast in lighting. Okay, this is just a remarkable piece. Let's go wide out to here because I saw some other, look at that. That looks like a realm from a movie. That's just, yeah. Okay, I could sit and look at it this way all day, but all right, well, here we go. Now, I don't think I'm going to try to sell that anymore. I mean, by way of talking good about it. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to start talking bad about it. If you buy that, it will probably fall apart in a bunch of pieces. Let's see, what else can I say? Well, you can't use a diamond saw and cut it in two. And your 4-year-old will probably reach up on the shelf and pull it off and drop it. There we go. So for that reason, I suggest that You leave it with me. Well, I have to endure the hard possibility of owning that the rest of my life. I don't know how I can live with myself. Price on this? Well, golly. Wow. $58. $58. One of those things, go find another one. I mean, I'm not being a smart aleck about it. I'm just saying, in general, that is not something, I mean, how many would you even have to look to find anything that you could have where there was only one open hole? Natural open hole, not a round, perfectly drilled hole. No, this is all makes it look really natural, and you know that's the way I am. Is, you know, I like keep things the way they are. Yep. Okay, so you heard all the downsides to it. Big risk, $58, and you know, all you're going to do is have it on the shelf. People are just going to think it's an ugly mud ball. You know, they're not going to think anything special about it. So, no bang for the buck there. All right, you guys scooped up all those Honduran opals. I was going to showcase a few of those that were left, but you can probably look up the number and get them. But let's look at item 118-6624 because there was some mention when the 4 people got the, just for sending in the comments, I sent everyone. Oh, yes, sir. Let me do that. That is item 118-6624. Here is the goods. Now, while he's typing that up, I can hold this. Look at this. And, oh, there we go. Okay. This is what everyone was talking about by liking the way barite forms, the Moroccan barite, because you get these vanadinites that just end up perched on the edges of those blades. Now, the darker can be natural manganese oxides. There's also other minerals that can form as well, and that's what some of those look like, the black crystals. But here's the thing that makes this piece special. It is the aragonite. Yep. And I at first did not notice. You have everything there? I did not notice the aragonite on this. It just like I don't know. I just looked at the white barite blades. I got looking at this a little closer, and as Dave will show you, there we go. Look at those formations. The more botryoidal formations. All of a sudden it dawned on me, I said to myself, well, what are those? And I got to cross-referencing what other specimens coming from that locality in Mindat, and I saw one exactly like this. And it said aragonite. And I said, oh, of course. Aragonite, of course, is a calcium carbonate, just like calcite is. And oh yeah, if we can make sure we put the aragonite so they don't forget that, whoever gets that specimen, they can always look up the chemical formula, so that's okay. Well, they'll get this information also in whoever purchases it. You'll get the full information with your purchase. Okay. So now let me move this guy out of the way so you totally forget about that geode. It did not exist. Here we go. That's exactly the contrast I just wanted. let's see, do we need that? Maybe that. Look at all of those aragonites, and then all of them along here, all of them along. Look at how they ride this top edge like that. So you have barite that formed, right? And this is how you have to think. Everything can't grow at one time. It's obvious then that the barite blades had to be formed first. Then the vanadinite soup of elements had to come into the scene and form on top of the barite. Then, since we have the aragonite that has grown on top of the vanadinites, obvious in, look at this. I mean, it looks like little snow cap, or they look like, what, ice cream cones, or, oh, I don't know, ask us if we'll come up with something exactly what they look like. Also, these black little crystals. You know, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but my memory actually is failing me on that, because it was a surprising new mineral that they were, that I figured them out to be. But you see that they're not just a black coating, that they reflect, so they're little crystals. The aragonite makes it real special, and those black crystals. So this, if you want to collect a really, really, really nice specimen, that is a great shot of it right there. I mean, that has it all going on. And again, this is the last time I'm going to show this one, because I didn't realize just how, well, that look right there. That is the look of a picture on the cover of a Rock and Gem magazine. I mean, it has the aesthetics, the color contrast, and all the bells and whistles that a specimen from that location should have. Price on this, it also has a great price. $38. Only $38 on that. And I do not have another one that has that prominence of aragonite and that much contrast in the specimen. Okay, look at this. You might have seen it before, but you're not going to see it at the price I'm going to offer it to you now. If you want something different, unique to talk about, and to, let's say, maybe go with a specimen, here is a wonderful bicolor. Let me put it up against some white so you can actually see the difference in the color. Just neat. And also, it's a great lesson stone. Believe it or not, you can learn about the inclusions of a tourmaline. It just takes time. Look at them. That's how you can get another stone that might just only be the green. How would you know what it might be? If you know what tourmaline inclusions look like or don't look like, that is a place to start. You need a lesson stone. How many times have you seen me use lesson stones? Here is one for you, if for no other reason, but a nice custom silver piece with a lesson stone as part of it. Price on it, I think you can live with it, $18. Now, item 1168624. Let's take you back, maybe a couple hundred years. Oh, wait, hold on. We'll take you back a couple hundred years in a bit. But first, 1168624, here is a great birthstone. I happen to know because it is my own. Look at this. Here is, I hadn't shown one of these in a while. Japanese iridescent rainbow garnet, and this has some stunning rainbow effects. If you can see it, look at that. Even on the edges, you don't expect to see. Let me get my fingers out of the way, and you can see right there is pretty much where it would have been attached to the matrix. And even at that, look at the colors. And those are emanating just from those striated crystalline lines. So look at that. Look at the blue. So, and that's what I would consider the back side. These are whatever is out there and has been mined, there will be no more. And wow, look at that. I happen to be fortunate to have gotten a collection of them. And I hung on to them for years, and only through this show have all of you been able to get the value that you have gotten in these? I have offered them to you faceted, in clusters, in singles like this. And when you go and find how much other places are offering, what little poor quality ones they have, yeah, you'll are even additionally thankful. Look at that. Look at the colors in that. And see, I haven't even been able to turn them all on their correct angles, but every different angle. There was a huge articles I've read on what forms all this, and it's for I did a trivia question even about it though. So hopefully you'll remember some of what I told you and how the diffraction grating creates the lighting because of basically different percentages of. Look at that. That's what I was looking for. I saw that in the mirror reflected. Different percentages, basically, of garnet, of the type garnets. Keep it simple for the moment. All right. So there's a fantastic beauty for the collection. Or if you want to be special and give it to someone that doesn't have one of these, it would make an outstanding gift. You can create jewelry just from the way they are. Let me get that purple face. Look at that. That is a beautiful piece right there. Okay, so offering that one. Okay, well, I'm not sure why it is so inexpensive and why it is only this much, but okay, I'll offer it $24. $24. That specimen with the weight that it is, over 3 carats, that would be over $100. $100 if you could find something that nice. For real. Yep. Next, I have item number 117, 1624. Okay, you guys saw these. They are too cool to just give away, right? Maybe, look at the colors. Look at those colors. This is tangerine quartz. They're approximately 1 inch long. This is some of the finest, nicest quality pieces in this range, and they are aesthetically gorgeous, and each one unique in its own right. Look at this one. This has the, look at how flat that axis is. And then you have this intersecting crystal. How about that? I mean, I shouldn't have to show these again. That is just beautiful. The orange colors emanating from hematite, from iron oxides, sometimes internally, sometimes surface. Then look at this one. Just a really nice. These three, what they are fantastic for would be for jewelry, or again, to display as part of a quartz collection. And the three of them together would certainly complete anybody's tangerine quartz collection. And after I see just really how nice these are, Raymond loves specimens that size. So, and actually, Andrew, they had a loss in his family, but the wire wrapper, he's been wanting me to send him some items to wrap, and that would be a couple of good ones. Okay, so all three of these. Okay, so why not? $18. $18. So that's what, $6 a specimen for something as unique as that quality, the high graded quality of tangerine quartz. There you have it. And like I said, so that's why I'm doing some sale pricing here. Now this next one, 113.90. Let me get that right. 113.94.23. I believe this is the last of the ones I have. I had these from several countries, and when you look at the crystallization and how what the crystals look like, pyromorphite. Not all pyromorphite, but this specimen in particular is phenomenal for, look at this, yep, on the other side as well, for the formation of the crystals themselves. These are from Pennsylvania, the Wheatley mines from 1860s to 1920s. It was fascinating to read about the history of the Wheatley mine. Let me show you what I found so interesting. It was the tops of these. The tops of the crystals. Look at, there we go. Look at that. It looks like a sea anemone. So you have a barrel-shaped crystal, and then out of the top of the crystal, you have additional smaller crystals that flare out. There's one right there. That's a good example right there. Yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. So you have the base, and then all of a sudden, it just flares out. And when I looked for other similar specimens that in Mindat that were hopefully like that, I didn't see any. It looked like these were definitely a rare and unique habit. Look at that. There were some somewhat similar, or one or two, but it seems that almost all of these had, look at that, have that same type of form, or it looks like a pineapple. Maybe that's a better description yet. Kind of like a pineapple with the way the crystals come out from the top. Looks almost, look at that, almost like out of a horror show. Wow. So that is everything you want to look at. I mean, I can see them from here. That, now, yeah. Great specimen. Great specimen. And listen, so this is from the 1920s. There's no more of this material. This is old stock material. And go to a show and say, okay, I want a specimen from the Wheatley mines from Pennsylvania, and I want to pay only, X number of dollars for it. And yeah, good luck. And good luck is indeed. So since we've been talking about, we've been talking about lead minerals, galena, right? And we've been talking about the chlorophosphates, because that's what it is. So we have a lead chlorophosphate and lead minerals. Who would have think that there's a shiny metal in there, as in lead, for most of the molecular weight? That's, you smelt it and you get lead. Go figure. Now, opportunity on this is going to be for someone that wants a oldie and a goodie and a rare one. I am going to put an additional sale price on it, but that'll be the end of the markdowns on this guy. We're going to make it only $87, and that is going to get the final marking next to it, because after that, I don't mind taking them back home. And if the Raven sees it, maybe I won't take it back home. I don't think she knows I have it. But that really is one that all of y'all need to take advantage of. Okay, let me show you. 1110723. 1110723. This next item I'm going to show you is one that there is a couple of you out there that have been buying pretty much up all of the diamonds I've been offering. Rightfully so, because I have made them so inexpensive. Okay, so this one, let me just show you in the paper that I have it in, because it's a lesson in what to watch for. All right, so you see, this is the diamond paper, right? This is supposed to be what you sell diamonds in, okay? And without comparison, people think, okay, yeah, that's white. Okay, I can tell a contrasting color of a diamond. No, you can't. Not in that paper. You could take a yellow diamond and make it look good. What you need it this is true white. Look at that. Just like the cameras, the guys white balance, whatever that is, white balance the cameras to a white background, so everything else then is the relative color it should be. Same thing here. White is relative. Look at how, I brought this piece of paper because it is true white. So against true white, the only way you can really judge color in a diamond is to look at it through its side. If you look at it from above, the brilliance will wash out the, I'll show you that, will wash out any small difference. See, let me show you, in color and by the cutting. So you can see, if I can hold on to that, right? You can see that by itself, like that. Oh, that's shiny, that's beautiful, nothing wrong with that. But when you put it against a true white, you actually get to see a little tint of color. And that's how you grade diamonds, through the side, not from above. Anyway, this is 3.7 millimeter, 20 pointer, which is a fifth of a carat. I'm making this so inexpensively. If anybody, or you know anybody wanting a single diamond earring, that'd be great. It'd make a great diamond pendant, a back to school gift, all kinds of things you can use this for. It has a natural on the edge of the table, so that could actually be instructive as well. A natural is part of the original diamond crystal. They leave those when they are on the edges like that and don't cut them out because they're not visible from above. A prong can hide them, and you don't cut the stone smaller just to remove something that is not, doesn't really affect the look of the stone. I have this for this size diamond, a fifth of a carat. Oh, the thing I started to put, it's not on this description, but it has been on my newest diamonds, earth mined, because with all the lab grown, you know, earth mined is the only way I could think of. You put natural, well, here's the thing, they used to put the term natural amethyst. Well, and then come to find out all this amethyst that was listed as natural was lab grown. And the illegal seller out of the Caribbean said, well, but it's natural. And, well, I guess, depending on the term and how you use natural, chemically, yes, it's natural amethyst. The way it potentially was cut, the way it was created, the soup mix they made to make it, all from natural ingredients. The thing that wasn't natural about it is it wasn't naturally from the earth. And that's a big difference. So same thing with diamonds anymore. So I put earth mined in the description. Same thing with this. So earth mined, the real deal, they're going to become rarer and rarer. And I should be going up on these instead of down. Price on this one though, final super duper price, $77. $77 on it, and has a just a really, let me hold this for a moment, has a really big look for the stone. So I only have my jade band, but look at the jade band. Yeah, look at that. Boy, look how beautiful that would be. Wow. For that kind of $77, again, it won't ever be less than that. And yeah, there's a great look for it right there. All right, now let's look at 116-6424, and let's see what we come up with here. Let me take this away, and we'll sit that out there to tease you for a moment, being that these diamonds can fly everywhere. Let me put that away just this moment. And it used to be really funny how I would see and get back these diamond papers. Always a sign of whether someone was in the industry or not, whether they could fold these diamond papers right or not. And I I think I got that back not folded the right way after going to inventory. Okay, so let me put that over here to be scanned later. Okay, look at that. Rainbow garnet, the calcimine, labeled box, andronite garnet, 10.63 carat. Already without looking, I already know that's a big garnet by way of weight. Oh, wow. Collector's crystal. Look at this. This is a group, a cluster of crystals. Now let's see. Let's see what kind of, we'll remove that. And wow, wow. 3 dodecahedron shaped crystals all together. I know, I need your magic tape. I'll clean that in a minute. Look at all the colors coming out from any different little, try it, any little different angles that you see, even the little beveled edges. And, you know, in the world of crystallography, all these, they all are assigned a face number and name. I mean, there is such a science to crystallography. So much I didn't know. Look at all the colors there. Yeah? And there, you might be on to something there, Dave. Yeah, I think we will get some good color with that. Using another wavelength of light is always a way you want to experiment. You want to experiment with different lighting so you can see, depending on what you're showing, what will show it off best. Now, with a cluster like this, it just, you know, there is not going to be a way you can turn it where there is not some iridescence coming from someplace on the specimen itself. And that's kind of cool. And let me look at that. It's like they were put together very well. Mother Nature did a great job. See this little look at the colors, formation on the surface. That's easily able to be polished off. It is, I'm not sure whether it's feldspar or something, but it is able to be removed, and it can be done with your toenail or your fingernail little, not Dremel, but, you know, that little battery-operated sanding tool, but use a polishing compound, diamond. And if you want to go through the effort while you're watching TV, you let it spin right on that face and move it around. Look at that. All these faces. Look at all the color. So that's what I mean. Unless I turn this, you might not think there's color here, but no. Every one of these faces show color. You just have to hit it the right angle. Look at that. Look at that. This is one of the best multi-crystal clusters I have for showing the iridescence from so many different crystal faces. And that's huge. That is huge in the garnet world, to have one that is over 10 carats like that. So a real collector's piece. It's going to come with the labeled box, which is a, oh yeah, let's try that, Dave. Oh, hold on. Hand gets in the way. I like Dave. He's great. He loves to play around with the lighting and the colors as well, and always offering suggestions and to try things, and see how they look. Yeah, not as much, huh? Yeah. Yeah. See, everything to do with wavelength. So now we're under the same, like you said, the balance of lights. That's what we had a moment ago. So, yeah, and that's where lighting becomes so important, as you all know how much I always talk about it. So this is a neat piece, especially with the labeled box. I think that's just cool, the little label boxes like that. Okay. And the price, wow. Okay, so I have discounted this, and I will offer it at one more discount, because after that, That's the end of that, because after that, then I'm just throwing money away more than I'm already am. Okay, that big. Wow. Okay. I don't know how to do this for the price I'm going to say. $68? $68, and that is just a special sale price, okay? That is a special, be patient with me, sale price. And that is good. I'm going to put it on there. 1 week only. Yeah, because that is me throwing away money. And so for those of you that thought you bought all that you needed of these garnets, no. Call a friend or upgrade yours. Get this one and you sell another one to your friend, because you know that is a amazing, amazing bargain on that. Okay. Now, this is what I started to mention earlier. Let's step way back. Let's get the way back machine. 112-7723. 112-7723. And if you can recall, it was, a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't know. Time gets away from me now. And I actually had told you the story, and we had a trivia contest about what the weight was of a diamond that came from a mounting that was similar to this. I even think I remember Brad getting it right. It was one of the first times that I interacted with Brad, and he was closest to the weight. These are foil back, and there was so much education I gave at the time. I don't have quite the time to repeat it, but foil backs required maintenance, because they took, if you remember how thin that diamond was that came out of it, and then they backed them, as you can see on the back, with, what they would call it, foil, with metal. And it would usually be aluminum if possible. Aluminum was difficult to smelt and wasn't, they didn't figure out how to smelt from bauxite until quite late, but it would still been around then. They would use a white-based metal to back the diamond in, and it would shine brightly for a while. But then water, dirt, etc. would get behind there. It would oxidize the metal would turn black, and next thing you know, little Miss Princess, look, there we go. See that? Look at, they actually were able to cut facets on things. And I'm talking about 1800s. When I talk about 1800s, I'm talking about Georgian, not Victorian, which began in 1860. Georgian, prior. This would have been in the early 1800s. And so you can see that there was some kind of primitive faceting done. But these are as thin. I don't even know how they did it back then. I'd like to know these things. Okay, you see the metal wrapped around the edge. Isn't that neat? Okay, what had to happen, and this is why the wealthy then had their own, jewelers. The court had their own jewelers, because things like this, what they'd have to do, maintenance. They'd have to take them out and refoil them to make the ring beautiful again. No putting it in ultrasonic or steam cleaning. Nope. They had to be completely redone. This, I know the piece. I took the piece apart to get these. It was a piece of jewelry. It was a brooch that had long seen its life, was over with. And so these are the items I got out of it to use as lesson stones. And for those of you that want to collect something really unique and rare, if you want to have something that covers the history of, all the different diamond cuts, well, you would not have this. You would not have this. I can assure you, 100%, this diamond did not come from the continent of Africa. They weren't even discovered until much later, after something like this. So this would have been, at one time Brazil was the biggest diamond producing country, even over India. For a long time, Brazil produced a lot of diamonds. But going back to the workmanship and whatnot, I would have to say most likely this is, and it could have come from the very original mines that some of the world's most famous diamonds have come from. And we just don't know. But most likely it's probably Indian, but I don't know. It could be Brazilian. All right, so I don't know the weight. I know the one that we guessed on. A lot of people guessed a quarter carat. I think Brad's guess, I won't say guess. I know he used a scientific principle to coming up. I think he said 13 points. He was the closest. I think the sliver that came out of it was actually only 7 points. So anyway, I am going to offer that. I'm not going to use it for a lesson stone anymore. I'm offering this one. I don't have another one. I believe this is the last and only one I have. And I'll just make it so someone else can enjoy it and use it for what I have used it for. That's to educate and to learn from myself. So let's make it only $38. Only $38. And it'd be one of those go find another ones that no one would be able to ever go find. It can be taken out. You just peel back that little bit of metal yourself, and it comes right out if you want to see it. And, you know, you could do whatever. You could actually, the other one I had, I could actually take out and put back in. And I had it so to show the weight, because I actually wanted to show everybody and actually see it on scales what it weighed, because it was kind of like shocking even to me how little it did weigh. So there you go. That's a real collector's stone, a real good deal for a collector to have such. Let's look at item number 113, 1923. Now, let's see what we have here. Okay, so there is a quantity, and you can, of 2. So if you want to get both parcels, you're welcome to them. Let's take a look at these. Look at these. Okay. Now. Wow. These are not what I thought they were. These are way nicer than what I thought they were, baguettes and stuff. But full cut diamonds. My goodness. Quantity of 2. HI color. 65 point total weight, VS to SI clarity, so really nice clarity, 27 stone parcel, 1.3 to 1.8 millimeters. Wow. All right, so let's look at those. Wow. And look at how well matched. So they have the same weight, the same number of stones. That's hard to do, even trying to do that. So 1.3 to 1.8 mil. You know, if I'm selling diamonds, it's really not fair for me not to take them out. That is the only way. I would never buy diamonds through a baggie, so why would I sell them to you through a baggie? Let's look at these just real quick so you see what you get. Wow, these are full cuts. Full cuts meaning they have just as many facets on them as a big diamond. 57 facets. And so they're not single cuts, which only have 17 facets, 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom. And there's enough in here that you could do channel setting with. It's always nice to have a parcel around that you can have for little eyeballs in animal jewelry. Yeah, let me try that. There we go, that's better. I thought something, won't use that light for diamonds. I was thinking, those are not that yellow. So with Dave's help, I'm glad his suggestion was the right one. Yeah, so here we go. I was wondering why I had the color as what it was. So here's an excellent deal. All right, so no limitations. If you want to get both parcels, I'm going to offer, you can. And with the discount I'm going to put on these, you probably will want to. Wow, for full cuts, you know, I know. Oh, and again, Earth Mine, which you know, to me is going to be the new catchphrase for selling naturally diamonds that came out of the ground. Yeah. I'm going to make these parcels 65 points by doing, okay, why not? If I made these just over $100 a carat, that's crazy. You know, to get these, they would be for anybody, especially outside the industry, $500 or $600 a carat. So for me, I'm going to offer these $68 a parcel. $68 a parcel. And I know those of you that have been buying up the diamonds will be buying these as well, because I'm not going to offer them again at that price or ever anything less than that, because I will keep them, or I can also sell them to there's people that come around and buy your old diamonds, and at the price I'm selling them for, I'd rather let you guys have them that inexpensively, but I can get, you know, that price, you know, any time for them. So, okay, now I have a huge sale opportunity. 1176624 is the first opportunity. So let me shine the light on here for a moment, and oops, almost made a disaster. Let me do the disaster in front of you so you can see it when it happens. And then you get to laugh at my foolishness. Okay, so that's why, of course, they make all these neat little trays to keep us from doing stupid things like flinging diamonds everywhere. Now, remove that, and we're going to replace it with, look at this. Okay, triplite. One of the Fab Four from Pakistan. And to give you an example, I don't need to take them out. Let me show you this. Here's what's going to do it. Let me just shine the light behind this and show you. Here we go. Look at the clarity to the triplite. You won't be able to see it when I dump these out in just a minute. And this is triplite, one of the rare stones. You can see all kinds of qualities and wonderful clarity and colors. Thank you, sir. And I have 2 parcels. These never crystallize well. Triplite, it just doesn't. If you are doing gemstone paintings and needed a particular orangish pink color, they would work great for that. Look at that. So I see all kinds of pieces that have, well, very gemmy. Look at that piece right there. Anthony had cut a 41 pointer from one of them he got out of here, and it was quite, what in the world is that? Can I take that out? Wow. Okay. Well, there's a piece of nice triplite. I didn't see that before. Okay. So only way, well, I guess you have the item number, because I have another parcel, but it has a different item number. Okay, so get this item number if maybe you want that particular piece in there. But either way, here's the way it ends up looking. These are the crystals, these rough, crude formations. That is how they happen to form. Price on this, big discount. Let's sell some triplite and make him that parcel $24. Only $24 on that. And let's look at item number 1176624. And let's make it only $24 on this similar one as well. And let me just do the backlight so you can see again. I had water in these, so then it made mud. But again, very similar material, and you never know what you might get in these parcels. I should have. Oh, look at that. Okay, you think, okay, well, that doesn't look not too impressive, but I have no idea what this looks like. But let me just hold it up. Okay, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, look at those crystals. Yeah, So what didn't look like much a moment ago, now, wow, very cool. That's on matrix. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, don't underestimate what you see. There very well could be an expensive stone somewhere in there to facet, or just to say, look at that. Say you have triplite. Hold on. What is this? Yeah, look at that. Look at that color. And who knows what clarity is on the inside? Okay, same price on that. Same price. And you know what? You know how many of your friends will have triplite? Like none of them. Nope. Because it is still, as far as getting like specimens or pieces like this, extremely difficult, if not near impossible. I, years ago, bought up a large amount of triplite. I have, and I still have, just like the rainbow garnet. I was holding on and didn't tell y'all exactly how much I had. Well, that's kind of what's going on with the triplite. I am a triplite king at the moment. Yep, you haven't seen but a small fraction of the triplite I have. Let's just leave it at 985-221. And now, in the comments, let me check that. That would be 985-221. Do you have it? Yep. Now, someone had mentioned, again, wolfenite earlier, but it was wolfenite not from the most famous wolfenite location really that's known, and that would be the Red Cloud mine. Great name, Red Cloud. I have 2 pieces here, and look at that. Look how beautiful those are. Those are really well formed, classic color. Look at this. Wow. So they are, that has me really curious. I'd love to look at that more, but nope, time to offer it to all of you and offer it at a really great deal. Because, how about this? And so you can see relative to my finger how big those are. Look at that. Great stuff, especially so you have something from one of the best known, if not the best known, wolfenite deposit, certainly in the United States. But anyway, those 2 pieces and the box, you can see how old the box is. So these are old specimens, and I will offer the 2 of them $10. How's that? $10. Yeah. That's a great opportunity right there. Okay, let me put up a couple items. I'll be right back. Now, this is a parcel, 1.3 to 1.8 millimeters, only a ½ carat. Let me get these down in the corner. And so this is, again, I found that these millimeter diameters were the most common that I ever needed and used for doing everything from diamond replacement to, in diamond designing, one of the most usable sizes, because they were small enough. And when you have enough to choose from that are slightly different sizes, then it gave you a lot of options, gave me a lot of options. So these, in looking at the additional data I have on the information, let's see, VS to SI, so great clarity to them, ½ carat, full cut, and a range in the HI color range. So certainly a parcel that covers the majority of jewelry quality used is right in this range. So price on this, how would you like to get 50 points of diamond? So that's half a carat. Remember, there's 100 points to a carat. And I offered those others that were, I think, like the similar kind of batch at what? A little bit less. Yeah, they were 65 points, $68, around 100 carats. So let's do this. Let's make these $48. $48. And again, yeah, those of you that have been buying the diamonds, you've been buying them because you know how inexpensive that I've been offering them for. So over the years, I ended up with what we call breakout goods. You know, people's jewelry, no, usable anymore, and so I ended up with a lot of diamonds that I had more than I had projects for, and all of you get that benefit. Let's look at item number 1167424. We talk about rare earth elements. One of the places that you can actually find rare earth elements is in some of the different mica families. You know why? Well, this is one in particular. The lepidolite family. Let's see how that looks there. Yeah, we need a little light. And you know what? I am going to turn on the Geiger counter, the Geiger. Look at this. Lepidolite, yellow lepidolite. Not like faint yellow, true, beautiful yellow. Lepidolite, also you have seen it in those lavender colors into light purple and whatnot, including even darker purples. And that's still lepidolite. It all has to do with the other impurities which we know mica can take on. Not only are there multiple different types of mica, but it tends to run with the gang of REEs, rare earth elements. So let's see if we have anything from this. I don't think we do or not, but I don't know until, all right. So once we go out, okay. Well, what was that? Oh, okay. Let's check the back, because you never know. There could be one tiny little other mineral, maybe that I didn't even see. All right, so that definitely is doing what I thought it might, and that is having a little bit higher count per minute due to the fact that there are rare earth elements present. Now look at the quartz. Look at the quartz, Chris. Some may be crystals over here, definitely associated with quartz, but you have the classic, beautiful formation to mica that it's known for, and that is the foliated form to the crystal. In other words, they call them phyllosilicates. Phyllo meaning leaf silicates, and they, because of the leaves in them, like you buy printing paper. Leaves of paper, leaves of crystals. That's a great specimen. When this was first discovered, they were a small fortune, and I bought a whole flat. But I remember the flat being offered to me for about $3,000, which would have been more expensive than I paid for anything. And I didn't go. I didn't pay that. I waited a little bit until it wasn't the hot commodity at the show that year, and I was able to get, I still bought some, I was able to get it at a much better price. And this is still some of those left over. And I'm talking about, 9 years ago. So you're getting an advantage of a super old price, and that I have no idea what I paid for anything anymore, or how to figure it. So therefore, let's just make it inexpensive enough that you and I both know it's a great deal. And that would be a price of only $36 on that. And when it was first offered, that piece would have cost about $150 wholesale to me at the time. So yeah, it's still hard to find and get a hold of. Now, I am going to show you an item. Now, it's 1075022. I know where the companion piece to this is, I think. I think Miss Gabby may have it. But I don't think she has this color. And so let me make sure, let's see which one I have here. This is going to be, okay, so originally it was a set of two. I had a pink and a peach one. Let me show you this. Look at this morganite. This is the real deal. This is morganite, unadulterated, not treated, completely natural, and from the Orticum mine. Etched Brazilian morganite. Natural peach color. And when I had a set of two, one was the pinkish tinted morganite and the other was the peach tinted morganite. And, you know, both are beautiful. Both are beautiful. But to have the two together, then that's when you can make the comparison for color becomes more evident. Now, they are originally like from a granite pegmatite. These are natural color, and I'm curious though, because they're from a granite pegmatite. And what is granite well known for? Having REEs as well. The one, oh yes, do you remember the one I sold Miss Gabby? Now it's coming to me. It had that, I'll show you a minute. Hold on, let me check this real quick. Okay, yeah, it doesn't seem to have anything. Okay, so it had, if you remember, a perfectly hexagonal etched out area where the hot solutions dissolved away what I believe to have been, no, it wasn't hexagonal, it was trillion shaped, the shape of a tourmaline. And it etched it out, and then another started growing because it was smaller than the hole that was left by the one etched out. And another one, nature loves to heal itself, including with crystals. And another green crystal grew up in the same etched out opening. So you can see how these are etched out. Now, when I was looking at this piece actually has some stunning areas that you see that's hard. Behind that, facet grade clarity. It would cut numerous stones. But when I had talked to, and this was in Tucson, when I had talked to the dealer, you can see this is all one plane. See how that light reflects all on one plane? So that is one face of the original crystal. And when I talked to the person that had these, he said that these etched ones were extremely rare, and Mindat confirmed that. I found some information about them, and it said that they were truly collector's pieces. Oh, here's the window into this I was looking for, right here. Okay, can you imagine, get past the surface reflection and look deeper into the piece, and you can see a large area of inclusion free. See that, what you see on the surface? That is just the angle of the morganite. There is a big inclusion free stone there. That'd be cool, but it would be a shame because this is actually much more rare as an etched crystal specimen than it would be as a piece of rough to cut. Now, you can see when you turn, look at these. Okay, look at these terminations like that. And then you go back and can see a little bit better. Are they natural? Were they created from the etching? Well, that is all part of the fun that I'm spending right now that you need to be doing. And oh man, I love this stuff. Here's another stone. I can just look into these areas and see it. So this is a piece, I wouldn't even be offering it if I didn't need teeth and so many other things. Look at that. Look at that. He said these etched out crystals, very few mines had them or places had them, and it was absolutely confirmed by me trying to do research on them. Yep, I saw where they existed, and it confirmed exactly what I thought, the rarity of them. Here's the other thing. Look at this. See how parallel these two sides are? That shows you right there, Mother Nature doesn't do that except by the act of crystallography. And that's the real deal. And I was looking to see if there's a rough outside hexagonal shape to it. You can see 1, 2, 3, that there very well could be. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful opportunity here. And, you know, Miss Gabby, if no one else takes it up, that needs to join your collection. It does. It does. Only because you have the other one, it would make a great contrast with it, and you'd have something really, really rare, as you know. I have marked this guy down so far until I just don't have much anywhere else to go. But, you know, desperation becomes me, and that is going to force me to make it only $168. $168. And look at the weight. Wow, that's like 50 cents a carat. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Okay, now, next I have another piece. We've talked about these. I've shown you some different specimens. Let's look at this. 1146923. 1146923. Let's go back to the malachite world. And azurite, I see. Now, I had some of these that were stunning pseudomorphs, but as we look closer at this takes on a complete different form altogether than other ones we've looked at. Yes, there appears to be a botryoidal formation to these, but if you look close, and let's actually do that, and I actually fixed my thing and fixed all my lights on my handy dandy neat little gizmo here. So let me look a little closer. And there we go. Dave knows right where. Wow, look at that. Those are azurite crystals, and you have malachite growing over the top. But what form of malachite? It's botryoidal, but it is also not completely smooth on the surface. It seems, let me turn this little light off I have on my magnifier, unless we need it. Here we go. Let me try that. Okay. Now, there we go, Dave. Okay. There's the surface. So what is the surface of? Micro crystals. It's just not smooth. These are little micro crystals. Great camera work, Dave. And if you can follow, and that's why I don't like it when you're gone. Look at that. And back to those azurites. You know, it makes me want to peel back all those beautiful malachites, doesn't it? Because you wonder, there has to be malachite over more azurite. But those are some nicely formed little crystals. Normally you don't see that. Now, let's see the specimen as a whole. See that? Okay. Okay. I'm getting excited. You see azurite there. Azurite there. Look at that. Azurite up here, and then azurite along this entire edge. All this malachite has grown over a bed of azurite. It hasn't replaced it. It didn't, because azurite doesn't form like that. It has just formed over the top of the crystal. So what you have is a secondary, another generation of growth coming into the pocket or wherever this formed, and growing over the top. Let's look right here, Dave. Right here on these crystals. Wow. Look at those. And it looks like they're probably in some goethite. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at that. And following these along here, there is, I'm sure, a couple of other minerals that I haven't even, look at that, noticed or identified. Yeah, this is definitely, was azurite first and questions later. Look at this. Oh, wow, look at that. That's normally looks like powdery limonite, but it isn't so powdery. Hold on. No. I thought that'd come right off of my finger, and it didn't. So there is maybe limonite, maybe a mixture of a couple things. And then look at these. What is that unique form? Wow. I'm not quite sure. A smashed pea. Okay, so by the way, the rest of this in here, you have dolomite, and by way of the weight, it feels like there is some barite as well. And then, of course, look at the azurite around on this piece. So specimens like this are not just to be glanced at and passed by. They're to be examined, looked at, and then you think about and figure out exactly the geology. What happened? How did it get to be the way it looks now? And that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. I am seeing other minerals, but I don't have time or the ability to be able to help you to do something. Look at the quartz right there. There is homework to be done, and whoever gets this will have the joy of doing it. Let me turn this around. Look at that. See, it is, look at how beautiful that displays right there. And see my hand? That is a medium-sized cabinet specimen. That is a beauty. Okay, so we're almost out of time. I am offering this piece. Again, I have some of the best pricing and opportunities on unique malachites and azurites from, I asked you this question already and you got the answers right, 3 different locations. And there is nothing wrong with the beautiful Moroccan material at all. Okay, I have a really beautiful price on this. $58. $58. That would easily be $158 in any other place that you might see something that cool and that unique. Item 114-8023. Let's bring it back to made in the USA, the great state of 114-8023. The great state of Colorado brings you these. Where I used to live in Denver, have a lot of geological stories I can tell you coming out of there. Look at this. Here is a fantastic specimen. This is from the KAG claim, the Blue Owl Pocket, and it was collected, mined in the 2013-2014 mining season. Look at that. Look at that. Do you need the info? Beautiful Clevelandite. So when you see feldspar like that, where it's bladed like you've seen barite before, it is pretty much, you can be assured that it is the Clevelandite variety of feldspar. That is a perfect example. Many, many of the amsonites from Colorado have been assembled and put back together. Do watch for that. Not all the dealers will tell you that. You have to look for it yourself. These, anything I show you, if I don't say that they've been assembled, actually I don't even offer ones that have been glued together, back together. Most of them have been. This is you can see that reflection? One of the tells of a feldspar, especially if it's like a moonstone type variety. So here, if you do not have an amsonite, this is a great one. A great one. The only thing it doesn't have that is known for that is smoky quartz on it. If you look real close, maybe you find a little piece. But it does have the very cool Clevelandite, and you can see classic color and very aesthetic for the size that it is. And I have it sale priced. Yep. Let's do it for only $38. $38. And the last item of the show is 114-7923. 114-7923. And this is, let me just, this is a bigger one. So I'll show you the two next to each other for a moment so you can see the difference in size. And look at that. Look at that. So that, yeah, much bigger. It has not been reassembled. You can see that reflective plane that feldspars are known for. This is really attractive aesthetically at an angle like that. And it will self-display with maybe just a little help. Well, probably this way. Let's see. You know how much I like when they do that. Maybe. Well, close enough. Put some sticky stuff on. So let's see the back of it. Beautiful. No assembly. You have all kinds of crystals there. Nice little reflections. Wonder what they could, maybe some little moonstones. Anyway, nice size. Look at that. Nice size. If you don't have a made in the USA Amazonite, you're missing out. Okay, and a sale price on this one as well. And as the last item of the show, let's make it a especially good sale price. Again, coming, even know the exact pocket, coming from the exact claim, and the exact time and of the season when it was mined. What more provenance and history can you have than that? Let's make it only outstanding opportunity of $68. And if you saw how much those Colorado miners think of their Amazonite, wow, yeah, you would say that that is an amazing price, especially since it's just not the material that they've been finding anymore. And this goes back 10 years already. 10 years. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for the show. I'll be back with a trivia. It's that time. I have a big mess to clean up, especially since, without a computer. As much as I didn't want to have to learn anything to do with those things, I have been forced into it, as we all have. And when they go down, it's just, a mess. Okay, now, I have lots of new goodies coming up in the weeks to come for you. But I tell you what, I showed lots of great items in today's show at some amazing pricing opportunities. And I made some great pricing opportunities on them because it's kind of like I either need to move them, sell them, let you guys, enjoy the wonderful opportunities, or pull them all back and let them sell in another venue. But then you all would miss out. And because sometimes when I show something now, maybe for whatever reason you want it, but Pocketbook says no, and it may be months later before the Pocketbook can say yes. I may not have the item, or I may. And if I show it again, then it may be even less. It could be to your advantage. So I would prefer, if I'm going to offer something at a really good value, more so than I already have, that it be that it go to one of all of you. And plus, I know they're going to, as fun and me as it may sound, a good home. When they came out with the pet rock, a lot of people laughed. Well, that guy laughed all the way to the bank. I was just jealous that I didn't think of it first, because you know what? I'd already had pet rocks since the age of 11. Those were my pets. And one of my security questions to the computer I couldn't get into because I couldn't remember the name of my first pet. I didn't have pet. I had enough siblings that had pets, okay? So we had pets, but I didn't have like my own personal pet. It would have been a rock. And if I could have just thought about that pet rock thing, I'd still be sitting here offering you guys great deals, great specimens, just maybe a little bit greater. Okay, so I can lament and I can reminisce, but let's just do some trivia. All right, question number 1. Including the table, how many facets or faces? Okay, so we all know what a facet is, right? Faceting is the art of cutting those faces on a gemstone. How, including the table, how many facets or faces does a full cut diamond have? And that would be I don't want to get caught out on this one. Not a European cut, not a transitional cut. On a modern American brilliant, how many facets, including the table, are on it? And as a sub-question to question number 1, how many facets are on a single cut? And this is really important. If you have ever bought diamonds at all, or anticipate buying diamonds at all, look at your diamonds. Oh, I'm sure you already have diamonds. Look at the ones you have. You will have, if you have any number of diamonds at all, some of both. You will have some single cuts. You will have some full cuts. If you want to, fair game, go and count them and see if there's a difference between the number of facets that are cut on any of them that are different. Because if they're round, it's going to be no deviation from what is called the standard American brilliant cut, which was designed and started to be cut in the 50s. I'm not talking about Tolkowski. I'm not talking about any of this ideal stuff. But even though an ideal cut or hearts and arrow cut, those still have the same number of facets. They just have angled them such that it, with the right machine, you can see the hearts and arrows. I mean, wow, what a marketing ploy that was. Hearts and arrows. Yeah, I'll show them Cupid. I'll show what Cupid really is like. Someone needs to get that open, by the way. And so, single cuts, there's a difference in what they cost. The more time it takes to cut a diamond, the more they're going to cost. So, for you to understand the value you get in a piece of jewelry, you should know whether you're buying a diamond that is single cut or a full cut, because the cost to the manufacturer will be less if it is a single cut. So therefore, the cost to you should reflect that. That's why it's important. It's not always about brilliance. You think more facets, the more brilliance. No, the true understanding to that is the smaller a diamond is, the less number of facets will actually give you a brighter look, because you don't have these tiny, tiny, tiny little reflections out in a one-point diamond. If you have a fewer number of facets, you're going to get a bigger facet, which will give you and be able to see that bigger reflection instead of that teeny, 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 tiny one. Anyway, that's another story for cutting. So, all right, question number 2. Name 3 minerals mentioned that have been known to or may contain REEs. Now, I shouldn't have to tell you what REEs, that could be another question, but I think you know by now. So let me reread it instead of using the abbreviation. Name 3 minerals that I mentioned that may contain rare earth elements. So, name 3 rocks or minerals. Name 3 rocks or minerals mentioned that may contain rare earth elements. All right, that's it. Good luck with that, and I hope all of you are getting through your summer, and my wonderful peach tree, again, I don't know what happens. They were all out there one day, every single one of them gone the next. And I have another one that's come blooming a little later. So there's the update on the orchard. The apple tree had 4 apples. They're all gone. I was going to pick one of them, didn't get a chance. Somehow the forest knows the moment before they're ripe for me, they're ripe for the woods, and the woods get them. I'm going to set a camera up. I don't know. I can't see Teddy climbing the trees. I have seen deer standing on their hind back legs, though. I mean, that's a daily occurrence. So anyway, we need the rain. And I think we got the rain. And I think it caused, and it can happen, the fruit to swell, the tree to drop them all. I don't know. I obviously am not a, what do you call, a fruit farmer. Even though my close uncle, who had the huge 200-acre apple orchard in Franklin, North Carolina, outside Franklin, you know, so I every summer grew up around orchards. I ate a lot of apples. And yeah, now I just feed the woods, it seems. Okay, so we hope for cooler temperatures, more rain, and that the kids get back in school safely, and that the everything can return to normal. And I'm looking forward already to fall. That's where I was going with that. Bottom line, I'm ready for fall. So again, I never want to miss a show without saying thank you to all of you, and to tell you how much I appreciate your continued support and your patience with Gem Shopping, your patience with this show, and if there's anything else I can do to help you guys in this show or have a better experience, let me know. But please like and subscribe, I think is how you do it. And that will be one little way that you can help me as well. Yeah, that's about it. So thank you again. And going strong here. I plan on seeing you next Monday. So be here. Thank you.